Howdy, howdy. Good morning. Welcome to our Sunday morning satsang. Have you ever considered or felt that you're not living up to your potential? You have an inner sense, almost a sense of foreboding of the future, a sense of foreboding of realizing you have not lived up to your potential, or going through life, or ending up in a place in life where you are in a sense of regret for not having made the choices that you know would have led to your manifestation of your greatest potential. If that is the case, then perhaps what follows may be of some use to you. What follows is not going to be of use to everyone, but it is something to consider. Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, the very end of the Bhagavad Gita, a well known, quite famous verse. Sarva dharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishami masucha. Krishna tells Arjuna, do not fear. Give up all issues of dharma, sarva dharmam parityaja, mam ekam. Just look to me. Surrender to me. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishami. I shall deliver you, moksha ishami, papebhya, all sins. I shall deliver you from all sins. Ma shuchaha, do not fear. When we think about our potential, it's not so difficult in understanding and in knowing our potential. Knowing that we could achieve, we could do, we could accomplish, we could manifest so much. That's not really the problem. The problem is our fear that's holding us back. So the question becomes, what do we fear? We may fear success, we fear failure, but oftentimes we also fear success, that we achieve something. And Stephen Covey talks about this, where you go through life attempting to climb the ladder of success, only to realize, having reached the top of the ladder, that it is leaning against the wrong wall. And so much time has wasted, so many opportunities have been lost. You've expended so much time, so much energy, so much wealth, so much endeavor, only to find out you are not where you wanted to be. That's a genuine fear, a very powerful fear, and a correct fear. But this fear comes from a lack of self-realization, a lack of self-knowledge. That's why self-knowledge, self-realization is essential to realizing our full potential. There must be self-realization. There must be self-understanding. There must be self-awareness. In that self-realization, what follows must be the courage to then actualize what has been realized, what has been understood, what has been acknowledged about our true, complete selves. And we must hold on to, remind ourselves. In a previous satsang, I talked about how the individual Hanuman, did not know, he was cursed not to know his full potential. In many ways, we are cursed not to accept, not to acknowledge, not to recognize our full potential. And this curse comes in the form of distractions. This curse comes in the form of comfort. This curse comes in the form of convenience. Because we may be in a place in life where we are comfortable. We don't want to rock the boat. We recognize our potential. We recognize the immense power, superpower we have. But at the same time, we're in a place of comfort. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to risk losing this place of comfort. We don't want to risk losing what has become so convenient. We would rather live at a level below our full potential than risk the possibility of discomfort. We talk about dharma, dharma, dharma. Not remembering that the very first principle of dharma, tapa socham thaya satyam iti pada krite kritaha, the very first principle of dharma, tapa. Tapa means fire, to burn. Tapa is commonly translated as austerity. Tapa has, unfortunately, a very negative connotation. I mean, understandably so. To burn, fire, austerity. Tapa means self-mastery. It means choosing what is not convenient, but what will open up, what will realize your full potential. Tapa means to choose what is not comfortable in order to achieve, in order to express, in order to manifest your full potential. Because it is what is comfortable that holds us back. It is that attachment to what is comfortable, that attachment to what is convenient, that holds you back from realizing your full potential, from manifesting your superpower. And it's not superpower in the comic book sense of the word. Our superpower is to live at our full potential. And for each and every one of us, that is uniquely individual. It doesn't mean changing the world. You know what your superpower is. You know what your full potential is, and you know when you're not living up to it. You know it. So stop pretending. Stop hiding from yourself. Not pretending. Stop hiding from yourself. So when Krishna tells Arjuna, do not fear, he's not talking about it. And this is where we also get lost. As Vaishnavas, those of us who claim to be, you claim to be a Vaishnava, you claim to be a follower of Vishnu, you claim to be a follower of the Bhagavad Gita, you claim to be a student of Bhagavad Gita, yet the very first lesson of Bhagavad Gita is that death is irrelevant. Let me rephrase that. Not irrelevant. Of course, death is relevant. But it is secondary. Pain, distress, discomfort, inconvenience is secondary. Not irrelevant. Not irrelevant. Forgive me. Wrong choice of words. Krishna does not say it's irrelevant. He says it's secondary. And he compares it to winter and summer. Sitoshna sukha dukha dha. Winter and summer are highly relevant, but secondary, comes and goes. We work so hard to eliminate, to minimize distress, it comes anyway. We work so hard for comfort and happiness, it comes anyway. It almost seems like these things come no matter what you do, almost as a mistake or a blessing of birth, depending on where you were born, what family you were born, what time you were born, what country you were born in. Some people struggle all their life, receive nothing. Some people were born into excess. Relevant, but secondary. What is of true importance is self-realization, self-knowledge, self-awareness, and then choosing to live to that potential that your self-awareness, your self-knowledge has uncovered for you. That's what matters. Because without that, we will live lives that are stunted. We will live lives of regret. We will live half lives. And that may be what you prefer. We may actually choose to live a half life, a stunted life, an unfulfilled life. If that is your choice, so be it. Krishna tells Arjuna, I have said what I needed to say. You choose. You choose. I was talking to a friend just yesterday at work. He's Christian. In my own personal opinion, I think we have different views on Christianity, be that as it may. The point I was trying to make is Krishna leaves the choice up to us. Whether or not we want to live to our full potential. So when Krishna says, let's get back to fear. When Krishna says, Moksha Ishami Mahasrucha, I shall deliver you. If you, Sharanam, surrender unto me. The word surrender in English has a terrible connotation. We don't like the word surrender. So here it's a poor choice of words because of its negative connotations. The Sanskrit is Sharanam. We put Sharanam in everything in life. Sharanam means not having full knowledge of what the outcome is going to be, but choosing it anyway, right? In other words, crossing the street is a form of Sharanam. We put Sharanam in everything around us simply to get through the day. A kind of faith, a kind of trust. Krishna says, Mam ekam Sharanam. At the end analysis, put your Sharanam in me, and I shall deliver you from fear. Krishna does not say, I shall deliver you from distress, because Krishna has clarified from the very first instruction of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has clarified distress is secondary. Happiness is secondary. Happiness, Arjuna, as you call it, is secondary. Sukha. Ananda is different. Ananda, bliss, satisfaction, fulfillment that comes from recognizing, realizing, living to our full potential. That Ananda, that is different. That comes from within. That comes from self-realization, which is why it's called Brahmananda. It's not either or. It is not that we must choose, using the word tapa, we must choose austerity. We must choose to burn in order to feel, in order to fulfill our potential. No. It's not one or the other. It is both. We are spiritual beings in a material reality. It is not one or the other. We think and we operate currently that it is only the one. We must maintain, we must ensure that our material circumstances are comfortable. That's the problem. It is because we have completely negated our spiritual identity. We live only in the material reality. We focus only on our material reality, and we live based only on that we do not realize our total, complete, and full potential. That's the problem. We've chosen one to the exclusion of the other. We've chosen our material reality to the exclusion of our spiritual identity, and that's the issue. Krishna says, that's your problem, Arjuna, because this was Arjuna's question. He said, why do I have to engage in this ghastly warfare? Why are you asking me to do this? Shouldn't I just go to the forest? It sounds like you're actually telling me to go to the forest and pursue spiritual activity. Krishna says, no, you've missed the point. It's not one or the other. We are spiritual beings. Our identity is spiritual. Yes, we live in a material reality. Yes, there's going to be happiness and distress, just like there's winter and summer, you moron. Krishna tells Arjuna. But we have not heard the lesson. You have not heard the lesson. It is not about fearing of death. It is not about pain. It is not about discomfort. That is going to come to you whether you want it or not. Doesn't mean you don't work to minimize it or alleviate. I'm not saying that. Krishna is not saying that. Of course you work to minimize and alleviate unnecessary distress. But what distress is going to come anyway, don't let it derail you from self-realization. Don't let it derail you from acknowledging your full spiritual potential and then living to that full and spiritual potential. So we have to recognize what is intangible. The tangible we know, the material we know. We work to alleviate, minimize those things that get in the way of our existence, fine. But what is our spiritual identity? That total picture, that is your full potential. Recognizing your material reality, but also living up to your spiritual identity and what that entails, how your spiritual identity manifests in the world around you, in your material reality. That is your superpower. And for that, you have to have Sharanam to Krishna. And that's what's intangible. We have Sharanam in all things material. We have Sharanam in all things material. You cannot exist in the material world without Sharanam in the material reality we've created. So Sharanam is not the issue. Stop pretending the Sharanam is the issue. Sharanam exists. We use it every single day. We cannot function in this world without Sharanam. Placing our faith, our trust in the material world around us, hoping that it's going to do right by us. The problem is that we don't place Sharanam in our spiritual identity, in the Supreme, in Krishna, because it's intangible. It is intangible. No one's denying that. Krishna is not denying that it is intangible. So what must be done is developing the ability. That's where we have to go outside of our comfort zone. That is tapa. That is what's inconvenient. Is venturing into the spiritual, venturing into the intangible, our spiritual nature, and making what is uncomfortable comfortable. Making what is inconvenient convenient. Sitting with yourself, sitting with your spirituality. as uncomfortable as it may be, as frightening as it may be, and choosing to operate in that space. Oh, that's difficult. Never said it wasn't. Never said it was uncomfortable. Never said it was inconvenient. Oh, that's tapa. That is tapa. It burns. It's frightening. Krishna says, do not fear. You place sharanam in everything else. For this one thing, place your sharanam in me. Yes, it's intangible. But we have to make that choice. Make that choice. And it's not a one-time choice. It's not going to the Monday or on Sunday and doing something. No, you have to make that choice of sharanam in Krishna, in the Supreme, every single day. It is an intentional, it is an active choice. It's not once a day. It is dozens of times every single day, choosing to act based on your spiritual self-realization that you are Brahman, you are non-different from Krishna. The Supreme is within your heart. Krishna is within your heart. He is there and you can experience that, but you must choose it. You must choose it. Even though it is intangible, even though it is hard to do so, even though you do not get the immediate tangible feeling or result, attempt it, choose it. The greatest, the most, one of the, I won't say the, I would say one of the, easily the top 3 most powerful instructions I've ever received was when I was 14 years old. I was a rebellious moron. And one of my teachers told me, Mahavishnu, you've got japa all wrong. Your relationship with Krishna, you're short-circuiting your relationship with Krishna by thinking you are to do things for Krishna. You are to chant your japa for Krishna. You are to engage in all of the spiritual activities for Krishna. What does Krishna need your spiritual activity for? I'm, of course, paraphrasing now. And he said, don't do it for Krishna, do it with. With, the most powerful preposition on the face of the planet. That's what it was for me. With Krishna. That's all Krishna said to Arjuna. I'm here on your chariot. Let's go through this together with me. Mam ekam sharanam. Mam, Krishna says, me, with me, not for me, with me. Then there is nothing to fear. Not about distress. Distress is secondary. Not about death, not about loss, not about, that's secondary. Our greatest fear, Krishna defines the greatest fear. We haven't accepted this as such. We fear what's going to happen anyway. We fear loss. Loss is going to happen anyway. In the material realm, loss is the only thing that is assured. Even if it comes down to the ultimate loss, which is death. Loss in the material world is assured. And that's what we focus on. But that's the problem. When Krishna talks about loss, when Krishna talks about something that is to be feared, what is to be feared is not living to your full potential, not manifesting, not existing to your full and complete potential. That is what should be feared. because you do not experience your full and complete self, that superpower. Not the superpower of flying through the sky. I'm not talking about that. Krishna is not talking about that. Your superpower is living every single day and expressing and manifesting your full and complete self, your full and complete potential at every moment of the day. Not living in that space, that is what should be feared. So you've put your sharanam all through the material reality. Now, take some of that sharanam and put it with Krishna and choose to do so every single day. Make that not inconvenient, make it convenient, make it comfortable, where you're with Krishna every moment of the day, everything you do. Yat karoshi rashnasi yat jahusi dadhasi yat, yat tapasisi kantayat tat kurushva mat arpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, do it with me. Include me, include your spiritual nature, include your spiritual reality. That's who Krishna is. Krishna is a personification of our spiritual reality. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, of course, but we are non-different. We are qualitatively non-different from Krishna. That is the call. So it is not about fear in the material realm. Not that it's irrelevant. Of course, it's relevant. It's part of our reality. It's not one or the other. It requires both. We exist in a material reality, but you're a spiritual being. You know who you are. You know who you are. You know what your potential is. Engage with the Supreme, engage with Krishna, and live your bloody potential. Enough already. Hari Hari.